Well, that was a dire ending. How I thought of the game. Uh, all right. I'll start with the positives. This is fresh, by the way, off my mind. I'm not like obviously I've not articulated it properly or like put down bullet points, but really like the story. Show us your internet search history. Yeah, it's Silent Hill. um, really like the story. I really like the room and everything in it, like all the the mechanics you can do in it. The hauntings is awesome. The basically problem solving you can do in it. That's all really great. Henry as a character, don't like. He's probably he's probably the most boring protagonist of the four I've played so far, which includes Harry, James, and Heather. Um, Eileen Walter's a good, honestly, villain. I was actually surprised he was here, so I guess they brought that back. Cause I kept mentioning him as well quite a lot into. Yeah, he's very interesting. The whole 21 Sacraments is also interesting. Well, that obviously leads into the story as well. I 100% agree, Beefy. However, yeah, as I was about to go on to, the rest of the game is completely dog shit. Like there are some elements and some like ideas that are good, but holy shit, I did not enjoy playing this game. This game was like a gauntlet to get through. The basic enemies, or like the first two enemies, like it's the worst dogs I've ever encountered in a game to fight. They're horrible to fight, and then on top of that, the ghosts enemy, which is like I think they're the second enemy that pops up in the game. They're an invincible wall hacking enemy that could just suck your energy life out of you, like your health, even when they're like somewhat near you, and you can't do anything unless you have a silver bullet, a sword, and then even then, if you had the sword, you're just sitting there for like 5 minutes killing one enemy, and there's only like what 5 swords in the game, and then the hitboxes as well is just so janky as fuck. They also like the gank you. This is what I kept saying during the whole game sessions. Like I swear the developers moved on to From Software and made Dark Souls 2. Oh, wearing a silver medallion, yeah, exactly. But then even then, I didn't even use them for that. Like I used them more for the room to stop the hauntings. Like I actually used stuff to benefit like the positives. I think the only enemy I liked in the game was the two-headed baby looking enemy or child. I don't know. They were cool. They may be actually like, what the fuck is that? um, what else was there? The burping enemy, I guess. That's funny, but they're kind of annoying because they kind of gank you again, and they have like that swinging mechanic. Twin victims. Thank you, Declan. What else? Yeah, the whole point of like the areas in the game as well. Like the subway, I hated. I thought it was just boring. Apparently, I'm not a fan of subway sections in Silent Hill games. The woods is okay. I quite like the woods. Not bad. It's quite interesting. Quite calm, chill. Had a nice, decent puzzle to it with the whole key in the ground. Um, what's the third one? Oh, the prison. I quite like the prison, but the that puzzle threw me off. Like because I thought it was to do with the water systems. The burping was meant to symbolize a decomposing body, but it just came across a bit silly. Really? Okay. But no, weird choice, but alright. Prison section, I got really confused with that because I thought I already did the whole section, like the puzzle part where you jump down the holes and let the light come through. Turns out I went through the wrong hole, and then I spent an hour trying to solve a water puzzle to connect the electricity through the because there was a note in the game talking about electricity, and well, that just threw me off completely. The rooftops didn't. It was whatever. A bit of a slog to get through. The monkeys were kind of funny, I guess. And then finally the apartments I did like because it has actually character to it. Because each apartment had like individual stuff that you could do. However, that refrigerator with the cat in it that fucking annoyed me. There's like 30 something fridges in that entire apartment complex. Can't interact with any of them but one. And then even then that one is like hidden away in a corner because the camera angle is like veering off to the other way. So, oh, you should go down the corridor. So that pissed me off because it took me an hour and a half to find that on stream. So, yeah. And then on top of all that, you have to do all that again. I nearly, I think I nearly ended the stream when I was like, I have to play this whole game again, don't I? But this time, escorting Eileen. Honestly, I'm actually surprised I made it through this. And then, as Major said as well in one of the streams, there's a potential soft lock because how BS it is. One thing I didn't like as well, like the apartment stopped healing me. I just remember that there because, well, I'm trying to think of everything I disliked and liked about it. I liked Eileen, not because she was hot, but I don't know, she seemed kind of interesting. She seemed likable, I suppose. And then I made a funny comment as well, but I don't know why. Like Henry speaks like he's. Hi. It seems like whoever like handed in the voice lines for Henry's actor, whoever was like audio, like in the studio, like composing all the files together to make them all line up and everything. I feel like Henry's lines got like toned down to be slower, like to 75 or 50%. He's gonna remove that sound. No, I'm not. I'm not. But yeah. So he's like, huh? What's that on the wall? He's just so slow. Even then, I can't even imitate it. But yeah. Honestly, the boss fights are actually fine, but I was just kind of thrown away by the fact that the first boss fight is at the 80% way through the game. And yeah, and it was annoying. It was annoying wall enemies that slap you. Like bitch slap you on the staircase and the escalators and in the prison. But yeah, I think my rant is over. I think that's mostly everything I've covered about. There's probably more stuff I could go on about, but that's. I think you get the point. I don't like the game, but at the same time, it had so much potential, and as Beefy said, this game would massively benefit off a remake if they actually fixed all the problems and completely reinvented everything, but also try and keep in the ideas of it. But yeah. How did everyone else like the game though? This is where now it's silence. I'll close that as well. But yeah, I'll probably give it like, honestly, like the way I've ranted about it, I was like, oh yeah, fuck this game, like 3 out of 10. I don't know, I think maybe like, yeah, 5 or 6. And then on a horrible day, probably 4. So it probably ranges between they 3. So yeah. 6 out of 10, 5 out of 10. I also said 4-ish as well. Better to watch than play. I think was it you I was speaking to, Major? Was it maybe Charlie actually? How do you rate it compared to the other Silent Hill games? This is a better story than 1. But 1 was just an overall funner game to play. And then 2 and 3 I really like. 2 being... I was actually so surprised how much I loved 2. That it became like one of my favourite games. 3 is really good as well though. However, that kind of has... I think that's the tipping point of when issues started to begin, I think, with the game. Well, the series. I've watched Origins. That looked kind of boring, but it seemed alright. And then Homecoming and Downpour, I think I know the story of it, but it's whatever. And then Short Message was actually pretty decent. But again, that was short, so. And I think it was about social media and like how much shit it can affect you. I'd probably rank it 2, 3, 1, and 4, and then 1 and 4 could flip, but yeah. Avoid shattered memories. Yeah, I've heard that's not very good. What would you rate it, Jordy? Also, I probably should wrap up now anyway. I didn't think it would take me 4 hours to complete this. I was at the end of the prison section when I completed this. Sorry, not completed. Stopped the previous stream. Well, I guess the verdict is I would actually play this again. That's the weird part about it, is because I think I said at one point during the rooftop level is this game would benefit Well, sorry, this game is better on a second playthrough. Oh, thank you for the follow, Beefy. I didn't realize you were not following. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. The story's relatively okay. I thought it was pretty good, the story. The whole, backstory of Walter and the lore of everything. But that's fair. I reported the channel. Yeah, fair enough. I would too. Right. I don't know if Joldy's here or not, but I'm gonna just wrap things up here then. I'm